Hey guys, I am going to show you guys how to make a few cool little things today. So I made these guys. So these are actually apple bakers. So you put the little apple there, put it in the oven, little cinnamon. And yeah, I made two different little styles. This one has a little shorter, fatter knob, and this one has a taller, skinnier knob. So enjoy this video. All right, let's get into it. First things first, we're going to center. Something that I want you guys to keep in mind when we're doing this, it's a little bit different than a normal pot. It's more like a donut base type situation. When we start actually pushing down and after our hockey puck, instead of going straight into the middle, we're going to go off center. And I'm going to show you guys that in a second, but I just want to kind of let you know before it starts. And I should probably figure out how to turn my wheel on. And my hair is absolutely insane in this video, so I'm apologizing in advance. But first things first, we are centering. So elbows down, hands together, always, 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 so we are balanced throughout this whole process. And then we're going to go down into our hockey puck stage. If you guys want a full centering video, I do have that. I'll link it at the top corner here. And this is what I was talking about. We are going off center. Usually we go straight in the middle here. We are not. So I'm going to zoom in so you can really see what I'm doing. So off center, pushing down. And then I'm going to go into that middle and I'm actually going to push all the way down to my bat because we want this little area to be completely hollow. This is like our little apple bridge. So this is what we stab the apple on and cook. So it's like a little tiny round spike. And I am going to open that probably a little bit bigger than a quarter, maybe like a $50 kind of size. And then we're going to do our poles inside of our pot right now. And as I'm doing this, I'm really collaring as I'm going because we really need it to stay that like little triangle shape inside of here the whole time. So keeping our hands wet. If you feel like it's getting gritty, you need less water. A lot of times when you use too much water, you can really feel the iron coming out of the clay. But if you feel like it's getting hot and the friction is happening, we need a little bit more water because we shouldn't feel like pottery shouldn't hurt and you really should feel like it's gliding. So I'm going to collar this in and I'm really collaring this middle part a lot. And then we are going to compress like our life depends on it because we have a lot of points here that are like dangerous points for uneven clay walls. So we want to make sure to get everything as even as possible. So take your time. I didn't fast forward this one, but I did fast forward the next one. But I really wanted to show you guys what it looks like in real life, like speed. So I throw pretty fast. You guys can see my wheel is spinning, okay? And now I'm going to compress and really just make sure that this is done properly. And then I'm going to wrap my sponge around my rim, push in with my left thumb, and create that little bowl here. These are honestly a great beginner thing to make because they are so stinking easy. It's like a bowl, you just have a spike in the middle of it. So you can really play with these. You can make them as big as you want. I was just doing little individual apple bakers, like the old school throw in the oven type thing, but you can go bigger if you wanted to. It's really up to you. And now I'm just kind of shaping so it's really like a round bowl. And I'm shaping this just like I would for a normal bowl. I am pulling out, and whenever I shape, I actually do push inside. And I love, love, love my yellow rib. Whenever I do bowls, I really don't like to use just my fingers because it is not ever as even as I want it. So I always use ribs when I am creating bowls. So this is kind of the finalized result. I am going to straighten up this little middle part first. I'm using just like a wooden knife tool here just to give it that straight edge. I haven't made these in a while, but I was looking at photos and I'm like, these really do have to be pretty straight. So I'm going to cut this off and we're going to listen to some music and go from here.
Feel so true, feel so new. Love with you, every moment just me and you. eyes, I see the light. Laugh and dance through the night. Can't believe this feels so right. Love with you feels like a dream. Never wanna wake, it seems. Holding hands under the stars. With you I can go so far. Every day shining bright. In your eyes I see the light. Laugh and dance through the night. Can't believe this feels so right. Love with you, love with you. Feels so true, feels so new. Love with you, love with you. Every moment just me and you.
All right, welcome back. It has been way too long since I threw these, and I know you guys are seeing like the fastest little clip bit of this, but the hardest thing for me is to actually get back to the studio and be able to finish my pieces on time. Because we run businesses and we are all over the place, sometimes this is actually the most challenging part. So these were way too dry, and it did not turn out the way that I wanted it to, but I still want to show you how to trim these. So I have a little chuck here, and that is where that middle part of that apple baker is actually going to go into. You want to make sure you have the proper sizing, or else it's just going to tear it off. But we pre-made all of our chucks, and maybe we'll do a video on that so I can show you guys how to make a chuck. But I also love to use Lipton, like, you don't have to use Lipton, but just little soda can or tea can. I guess they're not cans. They're like the little plastic bottles with the little caps. You want the ones that bubble, like when you press it down, it makes that little poppy, bubbly sound. That is going to be a game changer when you are, or even a fidget spinner. There's so many different ways for this, but I stole this from my mom because she was sitting down the row from me, and I really needed it because this pot was so dry that I could not actually do it properly. And you guys are going to see, like, I messed this baby up so bad. But I still wanted to show you guys how to finish it, just because the chuck part is really important. It's really, like, that's the hardest part, is trimming something that has weird shapes. And so we have a lot of different sizes for chucks in our studio. But I'm just rounding this out because it's so dry. It's obviously not trimming very well, and it's kind of a struggle. But I want to show you guys this one, and then I have this other one that I want to show you as well. And at the very end of this, you guys, I did not save them. So you guys will see I am going to smash these suckers because honestly, I don't like keeping something. I couldn't even sign them. They were so dry. And I'm not going to keep something that I can't sign, because if I can't sell it and make it work in the studio, why finish it? It's a waste of glaze and it's just not worth it. Something that I learned a long time ago was that if you create something and you're not in love with it and you know you can do better, you just need a little bit more time, throw it away. It's not worth the struggle of trying to finish something that is not worth your time. And that's how I felt with these. They just were not working out. They were way too dry. So I'm going to have to actually make these again, because I really did want to make a, like, how to bake an apple baker, like inside of an apple baker. I wanted to do a whole video on that. So if you guys have recipes, seriously, put them in the comments, because I have no idea how to do this. This is not my thing. Oh, and my family is celiac, so it has to be gluten-free, which makes it even more hard. But it's fine. It's fine. We're figuring things out. But I really want to make little apple baker things work. So I am just trimming this. I like to give everything that I make a foot. If it can have a foot, I like to give it a foot. So I was attempting, but it was too dry. So let's talk about a few things that I could have actually done here. I could have dunked this into a giant bucket of water, wrapped it up really, really well, let it sit for a second so the the clay could actually absorb the moisture, and I could have fixed it that way. I honestly didn't have time. This was the only time I felt like I could actually make this video and have the studio to the point where I felt comfortable filming inside the studio. Obviously, you guys see me a lot with my head cut off. It is because I'm filming with a lot of people around me, and I try to be very respectful of that. A lot of people don't want to be in videos, and I am 100% okay with that. But it does mean that my head's chopped off a lot, and it makes for awkward videos. These are not aesthetically like pleasing. Like I am not Floridian Gatsbying it in my own little studio. We are a community studio, and so you have to be respectful of everybody else's space. But I could have dunked these. I could have soaked them, let them, get that moisture back into them. But instead, I trimmed them really fast and I warped the rim. So you can see, because they were so dry, that rim is so janky, and I do not keep things if they look like this. Absolutely not. That is the ugliest little thing I've seen in a while. I attempted to stamp it, and as soon as I figured out I could not, I said, no, thank you. And both of these guys ended up becoming goners. But let me show you guys this one. This one was a little bit easier and not as dry, but it was still definitely not worth keeping in any sort of way. There are ways to make wet boxes here in Arizona. And honestly, if I had more time, that is what I would do, because some of these I really need to stay wet a little bit longer than what Arizona allows. We're heading into summer here, and it is 120 on a good day. We keep the studio a lot cooler than it is outside, so thankfully there's that. But AC also dries everything out. So if the AC is pumping all day, you are also drying everything out. And so it's such a catch-22, because we don't want to be melting away in the studio, but we also want our pots to stay good and hydrated. So it's a hard situation, but there are ways to go about it. Some people even use freezers, like old freezers, and they use those as a wet box, especially in Arizona, just because it really does have that thick isolation in there, or insulation, not isolation. But then you can actually really make sure that everything stays wet and you have a little bit more control. So here's these guys, and I obviously took 3 looks at them and I said, probably not. So I'm going to smash them, because these are sad excuses for a pot, but at least you guys got to see how I made them. And they didn't even smash good. So here's some videos of pots that I've actually made that did turn out. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing is free and it helps us out a ton to grow. I hope you guys enjoyed this clip, and please send me your apple baker recipes. I would love to try them, and I need to remake them apparently. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.